The next stop is Grantham at 7:27. So reverse it to forward, direct off, power to notch 3. So departing Peterborough, the speed limit is 40 miles an hour, and we have about 29 miles to Grantham. There's another Azuma to King's Cross from Newcastle. And the acceleration, oh crap, it's 25. Yeah, I did a test drive of this last night and I've already forgotten that's 25. So yeah, the acceleration in the Azumas is insane. So like when you leave Grantham, the speed limit is about 115. And when you leave Grantham at full power, you get to 115 in about 30 seconds. So speed limit is now 105. Shortly going up to 125. 115. On the right is Peterborough Yard. I wasn't sure what to put in it, so I just put some random things in it, like some of the rolling stock that came with the EWS class 66 V2. And some tankers. There's a 66 to Midland Towers from somewhere. I looked on Google Images for what the train could be, and most pictures came up with a stone train. So I just put some MJA hoppers on there. There's a 153 from Spalding to Peterborough, operated by East Midlands Railway. Speed limit is now going up to 125. I think by this point the actual train was about 10 minutes late for some reason. And then as it headed north towards Edinburgh, it got later and later and later. I think it got into Edinburgh about 20 minutes late somehow. Oh crap. And now I'm doing 105 miles an hour. Smudge is just on the floor, just curled up into a ball. She's cute. So coming up shortly will be a junction. The line right is the East Coast Main Line down to Edinburgh. On the left, I don't remember where it goes, but it's where cross-country trains come off to go towards Nuneaton and Birmingham. So if I quickly go to the map, set a player. Yeah, the line goes off to Stamford. Yeah, with the camera tools, I zoom the camera all the way back out so you can see more of the cab. So you're not like right towards the right towards the front of the cab. So you can't even see the speedometer. So when we arrive into York, I would have driven 188 miles. And that's a really long way. I guess I could continue to Edinburgh. Like, do another part to Darlington, then to Newcastle, then to somewhere between Newcastle and Edinburgh, and then to Edinburgh. Because all of it is electrified. I wonder why the guy who requested this wanted to go to York instead of Edinburgh. I mean Edinburgh is quite Edinburgh is quite far away. Really, really far. So we have 20 miles to Grantham. Should be there in no time. So as I said in part 1, this is now part 3 if you didn't read the title. So part 3 will be from Peterborough to Retford, calling at Grantham and Newark, Northgate. Then from Retford we will continue north, stopping at Doncaster on the way. So the day of recording is January 19th, and I think this video will go out after part 1 and 2 have gone out. So as of recording, so January the 19th, part 1 and part 2 have not been released yet, so I don't know how well they performed, because I'm recording this about 2 weeks early. I think when I'm at uni, so during term time, my goal is to have about 2 videos a week, one on Tuesday and the other on Thursday, just so my channel doesn't completely die. I mean, these videos don't really take that long to make, especially the shorter ones, like from Reading to Oxford. Because Reading to Oxford in a Voyager is about 20 minutes. Then it doesn't take that long to edit, and it doesn't take that long to render. And then upload it, and then you watch it. I mean, if you want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. So I think between here and York, we should be doing 125 most of the time. You know, there are a few speed changes here and there, like that was 100 and then 0 to stop. But other than that, we should be doing 125 most of the way to York. I'm really enjoying this run, especially on this part where the frame rate should be a lot smoother. Probably because it's made by someone that wasn't Dovetail Games. I don't remember who made this route. I'll probably put it in a caption somewhere on the screen about who made the route. I mean, they did a very good job with it. The frame rate is smooth, very smooth. The only place I've really noticed any lag is the approach to York when you're coming from the south. Like between Colton and York, that's when the frames do start to drop significantly. So, is anyone else kind of annoyed at Sakurai for the latest DLC character for Smash Bros? I think everyone was like, really Sakurai? Another Fire Emblem character? I mean, I was really hoping for Crash Bandicoot or something like that. But you had to throw in Bailiff from Fire Emblem in there. It's like, don't you think there's enough Fire Emblem in Smash Bros? I mean, why can't you get someone like Crash or something, like Crash Bandicoot? There's another Azuma from Leeds to King's Cross. I mean, I saw a video on YouTube that compared the different reactions of the public to the different characters reveals. It was filmed at the Nintendo World Shop in New York, which I have been to. I'll probably just fling up a few pictures of Nintendo World that I took a few years ago. I think the biggest, what do you call it? I think the biggest reaction was when Nintendo unveiled Banjo-Kazooie for Smash. Everyone was like jumping all over the place. So 10 miles to Grantham. And then that line should go double again and then quadruple for passing loops. I mean, I was really surprised that Nintendo actually managed to convince Microsoft to put Banjo-Kazooie into Smash. Because I thought Nintendo and Microsoft were competitors. But I think Nintendo and Microsoft have kind of come together a bit more, I think. I think that's what's happening. Or maybe Nintendo just got really lucky. What else do I want to say about Smash? I think the character that got most people confused about DLC characters was when Sakurai put in Piranha Plant. It's like, I never thought you could make a moveset for a plant. But I do like Finance Piranha Plant. Even though most of the characters I play in Smash are heavies. So when I'm playing Smash Bros. 1, I kind of rotate between Bowser, King Dedede, Ganondorf, and King K. Rool. Sometimes Mario. And Wario. But the character that has to be the most annoying is either Mega Man or Hero, because Mega Man he just throws projectiles non-stop. Then you have Hero, he can just self-destruct himself, or he can just deal out about 100% damage in one hit. I think I played Hero once and I couldn't figure out how to use his menu thing. Speed limit going down to 115, and we're kind of already doing it. So about 5.5 miles to Grantham. I think I might start braking about 1.5 miles from the station. I think my favourite character to play in Smash has to be Bowser, because he's heavy, he can move fast, and he's powerful. Especially when you get a character off stage, and then you can just forward air them into the blast zone. I wish Bowser had a spike without killing himself. Because if you use Bowser's down air to spike someone, you just end up throwing yourself into the blast zone. When Bowser goes into a shell and starts spinning downwards, you can spike with that, but you just end up killing yourself in the process. I wonder if people care about Smash Bros on the channel. I think the only thing they care about is trains, and the only thing Smash Bros has to do with trains is to stage from Spirit Tracks from Zelda, and that's it. So about 2 miles left to Grantham. I'll start braking in a few seconds. Then we have 1.5 miles to the station. So start braking now. I also recently saw Maverick Hunter Daniels' Creston revamp, and it looks amazing. He did say not to ask for a release date, but I really can't wait to play on it. I mean, if you take the original Creston route from 2013 and you look at it now, it looks completely different. Like new models, new assets. He's even moved some of the stations around, and it looks incredible. So, in the distance, you can see Grantham Station. I wonder if I'm leaning too close to the microphone. Maybe I should stand more upright, because at the moment I'm kind of leaning into my armrest chair. So, at Grantham Station, I'm aiming to stop right at the end of the platform, and I'm coming in far too quickly. That may or may not be what he said. Why am I like this? So, gently coasting towards the end of the platform at Grantham. And stop. Arrival at Grantham. The next stop is Newark Northgate at 7:41. I assume the doors are closed, so forward, diary off, and power to notch 3. We've only just left the station and we're already doing 30 miles an hour. So the speed limit departing Grantham is 100, and we have about 14.5 miles to Newark Northgate. Or just Newark, as the platform marker says it. So at Newark there are 2 stations, Newark Northgate on the East Coast Main Line, and Newark Castle on some other line that I don't know. I should have googled it. So the line to the left goes towards it goes towards Nottingham. I'm sure there's more stations before that. Oh, the portal just says Nottingham. You can tell that I don't know the area. So speed limit is now 115, and we should be there in about 5 seconds. So we should be in Newark in a very short amount of time. So I think between Peterborough and York, the largest gaps between stations are between Peterborough and Grantham, and then Doncaster to York. Because Doncaster to York is about 30 miles, and there are literally no stations. Which means you're just going at 125 for about half an hour. I mean, I do like the run between Peterborough and Grantham and Doncaster to York, but I kind of like seeing other stations along the way. Because other than that, it's just a lot of time with just trees. I guess that's why I like lines with more stations and buildings in them, because I find them more interesting. Like the Great Eastern Main Line between Liverpool Street and Shenfield, because there's a station literally every 2 miles. Except for like between Maryland and Stratford, they're like literally right next to each other. Or like on the MML or the Brighton Main Line, the stations are everywhere. So I think I just like driving the 377s. I think that's what the next mini series should be. Do a full run between Bedford and Brighton. I'm not sure what to do in. Probably a 319 for nostalgia, I guess. I mean, I can't do it in a 700 because the 700s currently are only for AI. I guess I guess I could just do a 387 and just disguise it as a 700. And then have all the other Thameslink trains as 700s. That'd be a cool idea. So if I did do Bedford to Brighton, I could do Bedford to Luton, Luton to St Pancras, then London Bridge to... what's halfway? I guess Gatwick? Or Redhill? Depends which service to pick. And then from Redhill or Gatwick to Brighton. The only thing about doing that is that the scenarios are going to take hours and hours and hours to make because London is very, very busy. I think someone did merge the Midland Main Line and the South London to Brighton network together, but I don't think it's entirely finished. Blackfriars is just a bunch of platforms with some floating blocks in the air, and it doesn't look very good. So I think I just might cut out the Thameslink core and just do... so I'll come into St Pancras and then just start again at London Bridge. So I think I might do that. What other long distance journeys could I do? I guess I could do Glasgow to Carlisle, Carlisle to Preston, and then Stafford to Rugby in a Pendolino. But I haven't done a video in a Pendolino in ages. Probably because I've already covered the routes that they mostly operate on. Because you really won't find a Pendolino outside of the West Coast Main Line. Because the Pendolinos were specifically made to work on the West Coast Main Line because the West Coast Main Line is very bendy. Looks like we have a warning for 100. We're also approaching Newark, Northgate. I wonder if I should do another video on Creston from DP Simulation. I mean, I do like that route. I like it a lot. I also like how the person who made it based the stations on real life. Like how like Crickfield is based in Sheffield. And I think Lanyard is based on Newark. I think Newark Northgate. And how we base Ennisford on Retford. I don't know what Deerview is meant to represent. So same as Grantham, I'm aiming to break about 1.5 miles from the station. Start braking now. So put the needle to about 80 on the brake gauge right in front of you. And that should bring our speed off fairly quickly. I wonder why there is so much spit in my mouth. It's normally drier. And then in the microphone recording you can just hear my mouth noises. That's probably gross. So at Newark Northgate, it has 2 platforms on the East Coast Main Line heading north and south, and then there's a 3rd platform adjacent to the up main that kind of acts like a bay platform. I guess you can use it to pass trains between each other. I think it's also used by LNER trains to Lincoln Central. And I think I might overshoot this one by accident. Stop. Whoops. Well, that's the first time doing that. So a very, very poor arrival into Newark. The next stop is Retford at 7:56. So forward, gear right off, and go. Go. We've only just left the platform. We're already doing about 50 miles an hour. I wonder how the real Azumas accelerate in electric mode. Probably similar. I mean, another question you could ask is how the drivers would drive the Azumas. Would they be more gentle or would they be more forceful? Like when I just left Newark, I put the power immediately to notch 3, which is quite high. Speed limit is now 125. I think that quadruple diamond crossing we just passed over, where two pairs of lines intersect each other. I think that's one of the very few left in the UK, unless that's being changed. Very unique. That's 7, 126, 125. Imagine actually coming down here at 140, Hull to King's Cross. Either that was meant to be one of Hull Trains' new 802s, but I couldn't really find a reskin. Wait, I think I did find one, but I didn't download it. I don't remember where it was from. I think it was from Alan Thompson's or somewhere like that. I think that was a test train of some kind. Because its head code started with a 5 instead of a 1. And here's an Azuma from Bradford, Foss Square. I think that's going to be up south all the way to King's Cross. Because I don't think the test train was scheduled to stop anywhere. And I think the train from Bradford was meant to stop in Peterborough, so it wouldn't matter that much anyway. So Retford in about 13 miles. So looking at the timetable, the train left Newark Northgate 11 minutes late. It left Retford 11 minutes late again. Doncaster 12 minutes and York 14 minutes. Oh yeah, I did find at York that we will be following behind a Voyager all the way to York. I think the Voyager was either going to Edinburgh or something like that. Either Edinburgh or Newcastle or Glasgow or Dundee or Inverness. I think it was going to Edinburgh. Edinburgh Waverley. So when we get to Retford, the video will stop there. Then a week later, it will pick up again at Retford on the departure, and then it will go all the way to York. Calling out Doncaster. So if you played on the Creston route from DP Simulation, this part of the route should look very familiar, as it's kind of modelled on the section between Shankliffe and Ennisford. Shankliffe is based on Eagles Cliff, and Ennisford is based on Retford. We have two lines in the middle, then two on the outer platforms, but facing inwards. And then you have a spur connecting Retford high level and low level together. I think Retford does have one of the more unique designs for a train station. From what I saw from the Crescent revamped, Ennisford looks completely different, with more platforms and things. So we have a warning for 115 as we approach Retford. Retford is in 7 miles, so we should be there in a very short amount of time. The thing about talking for a long time is that your throat starts to get a bit dry. I don't have anything to drink with me. So 6.5 miles to Retford. So you'll know we're approaching Retford because we should get a flashing double yellow, aspect as we come off the down main into platform 2. So this train was due into Retford at 7:55 and then leave at 7:56. The actual train got in at 8:05 and left at 8:07. So I guess this train was pretty packed if it stayed on the platform for 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes is a really long time. I also saw a different video at Welcome Green between King's Cross and Stevenage, and it looks like LNR is still using some of their 91s, but I don't know which route because the person who made the video didn't really show where the train was going, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I don't know if people in my videos find the annotations useful. You know, I mean the annotation is in the top left of the screen. Like if it was a train in real life, I would try and put the service information in the top left. Like it's head code, start time, origin and destination. And maybe some other information like how late it was. But this guy, he didn't put any annotations in his video, which means I don't really know where LNER are still using their 91s. I mean, I know the HSTs have gone because they had a farewell tour about it. So as we come off the down main, the speed limit is 40 miles an hour. So we're just decelerating to 40. 2, 41, 40. And we're actually 2 minutes early. 2 minutes earlier than the actual train, about 8 minutes late off the actual timetable. So if you do play this scenario for yourself, you will find yourself sat in stations for a long time. I don't know why this train is so late. I mean, when I looked at the timetable, there was literally nothing else going north for about half an hour in front of it. So I don't know what was wrong with the service. So I don't know what was wrong with the service. Maybe there was something to do with the train, like a train fault or something like that, or maybe it was because of passengers. I don't know. So aiming to stop right at the end of the platform, and this time I won't overshoot it. Hopefully. So arrival at Retford. So this is the end of part 1. No, 3. Follow me on Twitter for future video updates, and I will see you in the next part, which will probably go out next week.